an enemy image for the society to keep it together. According to neocon theory from Carl Schmitt, you have to have an enemy image in order to have a society. It's a very dangerous thing because now it means that the entire social order, the political parties, intellectual life, politics in general, all based on a monstrous myth. Monstrous myth.
Look, the CIA has done in this country, what they've done to us is unbelievable. Look at the terrorist acts that have occurred. The CIA behind most, if not all of them. We had the Marine barracks. We had our embassy in Kenya. We had Pan Am 103. We had the USS Cole. We had Oklahoma City. We had the World Trade Center in 1993.
That helped the terrorists blow up the World Trade Center the first.
Are watching The Echo on Channel 4. My name is Kumar Skiani, and tonight we have the special edition of The Echo because our freedom fighters are not available, and actually I took their time this time, and I don't know if the what are you looking at? I don't know if the next clip, I don't know if we want to watch the next clip. We might want to skip that one because I don't want to miss the clip that actually Derek sent me last night. It was fantastic. Thank you, by the way, Derek, for sending that to me. But before going there to the next clip, what was your take on the clips that we just watched?
Well, I'll cover the Bush signed an executive order taking the intercept shoot down away from the military, and made it so as of like January 1st or something, 2001, the military had to get an executive order before they could shoot down an airplane, and then it returned to normal shortly after 9/11. And
the dates
I guess the other thing that's really big is, you know, I don't think the terrorists, you know, or the Al-Qaeda, you know, has benefited so much from as much as the government has from, you know, terrorism. You know, they've got all these laws and all these government bureaucracies get tons and tons of money, and the police force gets federalized. So I don't know. They're the real benefit to terrorism is big government.
Yeah, and
just like Webster Tarpley was pointing
exactly.
out.
If you notice that, you know, most of these terrorist groups were financed by CIA, and most of them even were trained by CIA. So the question is that why even finance it, or train the terrorist groups? Definitely for creating the problem, reactions, and solution phenomena. And as you must have noticed, or if you haven't noticed yet, you will notice that they have used the 9/11 and terrorism, and which is the unseen enemy. They cannot be found anywhere, but they're everywhere, and that's why you have to take off your shoes when you go to the airport. But the terrorist somehow can get in and do its job without any problem, despite this thorough search that they're doing at the airports. They can still pass and do their things.
Did you hear about the new thing that's going on in the airports now? You know how you're not allowed to take water on to the airplane?
Mm-hmm.
Well, their new thing now is when you go in, you just had to discard of all your liquids, or at least put them into your into your luggage that is your checked luggage rather than your carry-on. So you go in, you go through the whole security system and put up with all of their police state garbage. Then you go into a little store in the airport, you go into a restaurant, you buy a bottle of water. Then they come up to you and harass you that they think that you put explosives into your bottled water after you went through security, and they make you test your water.
Wow, that's amazing. Wow.
And so what a lot of Patriot people are doing are just starting to get mad, and they throw it away, and then they harass you. Oh, you threw it away. There must be something in there. And they play all these mind games again, and then they try to harass you again. And another thing that they're doing is they're trying to harass you again before you get on the plane. So you've gone through the security, you've taken off your shoes, you've done all this. So then what they're starting to do is they're starting to harass people right before they board the plane. And especially if you gave them any flack. No, I'm not going to go through the naked body scanner. I'm not going to let you grope me. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. Especially if you gave them trouble.
Yeah.
What they'll do is they'll make an example of you as you get to the gate to board the plane.
Yep.
Well, they might have C4 dentures or atomic artificial limbs that could endanger the other passengers.
I know. I mean, you've got to watch these elderly people with the hip replacements. I'm serious. They're just so dangerous.
Exactly.
My mom's like transhuman. She's got like a new back, a new hip. I mean, she's got more parts. And she's got like a special card that says I am half titanium now.
And that, while they're doing this game on you, which is actually a mental game,
Well, exactly.
The terrorists do its job. Why? Because they're trained by the same people who claim they're standing for our security, and they pass through because they don't.
Exactly.
No, they don't need to go through the same. I mean, the main the
like
scanner
the
thing.
underwear bomber, he was actually escorted onto the plane by somebody who is apparently working for the government, who is a well-dressed man, who got him on the plane without any identification and escorted him through security so that he could do it. And then the answer is naked body scanners for everyone.
Yeah, and then next thing you know, don't be surprised to see your naked body picture in different.
And they gotta see. They gotta check. They're gonna have to just do chest X-rays because the C4 Al Qaeda breast implants that are coming out.
All right, okay.
I know he's right, but that's just so wild that.
Yeah.
There was another thing. I saw a BBC documentary. It's a very good documentary. I'll try and remember the name of it next time. But it admits that kind of the whole threat of the Soviets, and when the Soviet Union fell, we needed a new boogeyman, and the new boogeyman, it said Al Qaeda was our boogeyman.
And Naomi Wolf talks about this.
Yeah, the first boogeyman in history was Hitler, and then the second one was definitely the Soviet Union. Boogeyman, and then right after that, it's Al Qaeda, and then recently it became Ahmadinejad, the boogeyman. But in reality, all of these people,
which is why they have him go on worldwide TV and say, yes, I'm for 9/11 truth.
Yes.
It's totally to demonize the truth movement.
Yes.
Because he is being painted as the boogeyman. I think that there are a lot bigger boogeymen, like just ones that Q has mentioned before. But he goes on. He goes on worldwide TV and says, yes, I'm for 9/11 truth. It's totally done on purpose to demonize the truth movement.
Have you noticed that Fox News was the only major conventional channel that covered him?
I didn't pay attention because I just thought it was. I just knew it was a total setup.
Fox News that doesn't cover the 9/11 truth and the movement
covered
Ahmadinejad.
Yeah, why does that not surprise me?
That.
And I don't know that it was worldwide TV. It was at very least national TV. But I thought that maybe some other stations picked it up, like Al Jazeera and so forth.
Well, Al Jazeera would pick up any garbage that they find because they're working for the same people.
Well, Fox covered that other clip I sent you, where the guy second in command of or
Yep.
something went to the Pentagon. So
Yep.
I mean, and you know, they covered Operation Dark Heart. I mean, it's not by any stretch of the imagination, but if there's one, you know, group of mainstream media that does leak,
Yeah.
you know, stuff. I mean, they don't paint it in the picture that it really deserves, but you
Yeah.
know, they are being forced to
But-
recognize some things that are, you know, just an outcry.
But I mean, I feel that means one thing, and that is they're scared because the 9/11 truth movement is working. Is working
Yeah.
well, because last night Derek actually sent me the West Virginia Senate candidate actually is talking about it openly, and he's very honest. He's
In a
very
debate.
honest on the debate. And his
It's
question.
now on the main table. You
Yeah,
know?
exactly. And so if we could skip the next clip and go to that clip, which is a clip right after this. I can't remember what it says. West Virginia.
Jeff Becker.
Jeff Becker, yeah. If we could watch that together, I would appreciate it.
Have you seen this, Jim?
Yeah.
I don't know.
As a former member of the Air National Guard and as a member of the Constitution Party, what is your position on the continued buildup of American troops in Afghanistan?
I think we need to first take a look at what happened on September 11th. There were actually 3 buildings that collapsed on September 11th. World Trade Center 7 was 2 blocks away from the Twin Towers. I think this is important to consider because it was not rained on by any debris. It was just a 40-story building. And at 5 p.m. on 9/11, Jane Stanley, the reporter for the BBC, was standing right in front. We're standing at ground zero and reported that Building 7 had collapsed, when in fact you could still see it over her shoulder. And then 20 minutes later it did collapse. This is foreknowledge, and it needs to be investigated. Additionally, Larry Silverstein, the owner of World Trade Center 7 complex, before 9/11 had taken out a multi-billion-dollar insurance policy to protect his property against a terrorist attack. And then in 2002, on a PBS station interview, he said that he gave the order to pull it. Pull it is a controlled demolition term. More evidence of foreknowledge. These are facts. You can watch the interview. You can look. You can get the BBC footage. How did the British know 20 minutes ahead of time that this was going to happen? This needs to be investigated. There is a preponderance of anomalies surrounding the events on 9/11. Architects and engineers, over 1,000 degreed and licensed architects and engineers have looked at the information, and there's so much information that needs to be, that doesn't make sense with the official story. The only way for the official story to make sense is if the laws of physics had changed on that day. And I'm an engineer, and I can tell you that they did not
Mr.
change.
Becker?
Now, more on the latest building collapse in New York. You might have heard a few moments ago I was talking about the Salomon Brothers building collapsing. And indeed it has. Apparently that's only a few hundred yards away from where the World Trade Center towers were. And it seems that this was not a result of a new attack. It was because the building had been weakened during this morning's attacks. We'll probably find out more now about that from our correspondent, Jane Stanley. Jane, what more can you tell us about the Salomon Brothers building and its collapse?
Well, only really what you already know. Details are very, very sketchy. There's almost a sense downtown in New York behind me, down by the World Trade Centers, of just an area completely closed off as the rescue workers try to do their job. But this isn't the first building that has suffered as a result. We know that part of the Marriott Hotel next to the World Trade Center also collapsed as a result of this huge amount of falling debris from 110 floors of the two twin towers of the World Trade Center.